Okay. All right. So today we're going to talk about neutral and positive messages. Later this week, we're going to talk about delivering bad news. And I can't remember what chapter 7 is, but chapter 8 is bad news. This is a chapter heavy week so that we can have an exam before spring break. You guys did really well on the last exam. I was very proud. So we're gonna get through this. We're gonna look at D2L, and then we're gonna do just a couple housekeeping reminder thingies for you guys. So neutral and positive messages. These are typically written in very clear language using some kind of direct organizational plan. Usually we want to give these, send these really promptly if they're a reply to something. We do the same thing for goodwill messages. We're going to talk about what goodwill messages are. We're also going to talk today about how to write a sympathy note. That is something that people struggle with a lot. We'll look at some social media stuff. So we're going to start with planning and organizing. So what I want you to do in just a minute, after we read through this, is you're gonna need your computer out or your phone, and I want you to go to your email. We're gonna look at how to organize a neutral message, and then I'm gonna have you guys find a neutral message in your email. So when we organize a neutral message, the first thing we wanna do is present our major idea first as a direct statement, a question, or a polite request. So in this particular instance, it says, "Hi Ken, I'm planning a new event for clients and I could use your advice on holding an event like this." Okay, very directed to the point. The next part of a neutral message should be explanation and details. So they're telling how many or what clients it's for. They haven't picked a venue, asking if they're happy with the venue that was picked before. Should they hire an event planner? All these questions are being asked. And then at the bottom, we have a little more explanation and details, and we're asking for some kind of a response, okay? When we ask for a response, we're doing it with a specific date in mind. Too far. July 15th, right? Is when they have to meet with the person they need to meet with, and they're asking for them to reach out, okay? So I want you to go to your email and see if you can find a neutral message that someone has sent you. Is it organized in this kind of way, or is it organized with some kind of different structure? You guys get like 100 emails from the school day. There has to be something in there. Yeah.
Mine's pretty similar to that. The first sentence is highlighted. And then from there, it kind of gives the details after that.
Yeah. Does anyone have could anyone find any of them that are different in this setup? So you're probably not going to find too many that are different from this, right? This is pretty standard in sending some kind of message to someone. So if you're writing a neutral message, if you're asking someone for to send you information, always start out with what you need first, put it in the first sentence, because a lot of times people don't read really long emails, right? If I get an email that's if I got an email that was this long, I don't know that I would read all of it. I would maybe skim some of it. But putting the information you need or the question you want to ask at the very beginning, and then putting what you need from it and what you need from them at the very end is always a great idea. That's the two places people are usually going to look. The stuff in the middle is important, but they can always go back and look at that later. So let's talk about how to close a message, a neutral message. Is my computer not working? There we go. Okay. So what we don't want to say is, I need the information by October 1st. When we're asking someone for information, we need to make sure we're actually asking them. So instead we would say, may I please have, the product information by October 1st, and then maybe include a reason. But we want to make sure we're asking for information, not demanding it. Thank you in advance for your assistance in this matter. Okay, that's not horrible, but there's a nicer way we can say that. Thank you for providing this information, which will help us to do X, Y, and Z. We don't really want to go, let me know how I can help you in the future. Again, not bad, but there's a nicer way to say that. Right? Please let me know if I can return the favor by attending the meeting with Gupta Associates next week. We don't want to just leave an open-ended help in the future. We need to put a little bit more information there. All right. We're going to go on to responding. When you respond to a neutral message, a couple of things. Make sure you respond promptly and courteously. Usually within a business day is a good idea, okay? I try to respond to emails I get sent within a business day unless I'm like sick or something. But anything longer than that, people are going to start to get antsy. And you might forget that you have that message in your inbox because your inboxes fill up really quickly, okay? If you're responding, put your main point up front. Personalize it, make it sound like you. Don't write it like you're a robot, because you're not, you're a person, okay? If it's a question about your company, promote your company. Answer all the questions that get asked or any questions that are implied, and then close always on a positive, friendly note. So what I want you to do with the people around you really quickly, you don't have to get into your actual groups, but just the people around you. We're going to figure out how to improve this email response. So the question from a customer to a car dealership was, what colors do you have available now for the Honda Civic? I want a different color. How long would I have to wait? And their response was just atomic blue, taffeta white, and tango red. For other colors, it depends. How could we improve this response? If you need to write it down, but with the people next to you for the next couple of minutes, figure out how you could improve that email response.
I saw him scooting around. I said, "You gonna go reach that?" I know he was. No, we talked. Just stay there, and I'll tell him tomorrow. This week. I saw that. When I saw the 5 letters, no, it's but read 7 people find that.
Song's always stuck in my head.
And it's literally.
All right, so how can we make this email better? This is a horrible response. How do we fix it? Yeah.
Answering the question.
Yeah, answering the question with more than just the colors. That'd be good. What else could we do? Yeah, Dane.
Shouldn't give them like shouldn't give like a time frame of any sort.
Yeah.
She asked like how long it would take. It just said it depends. So even if they didn't know, maybe they could like give them at least a little more of a description.
Yeah,
Response.
that'd be great. Yeah, Grace.
Say something along the lines, hello, thank you for choosing our dealership.
Right. Right. There's like no, it's oh gosh, if I got an email like that, it's like, okay, well, they obviously don't. They don't want to talk to me, right? Which is pretty uncommon for a car dealership. So some other things we can do, some things you guys said, wait times for specific colors. They asked about colors, but they didn't really specify if they were talking about interior colors or exterior. So we could talk about interior color choices. Tell them when the current colors would still be available, by when other colors need to be ordered to get them. Maybe give out our contact information or encourage them to apply or not apply, to purchase. All of those things could have been included in that, and it would have been a much better response than, you know, blue, white, and red. So good job. All right, so we're going to go on to goodwill messages. There are 4 main types of goodwill messages. These are recognition notes. We're recognizing someone for something good they did. Congratulatory notes, thank you notes, and sympathy notes. So we're going to talk about the first 3 kind of together, and then we're going to talk about sympathy notes a little bit separately. But for the first 3, how to write a meaningful goodwill message. Be prompt. So sending that message while the reason is still fresh in the reader's mind. So let's just say, you know, Jacob like wins some kind of awesome award. We want to send that goodwill message to Jacob, or that recognition or congratulations to Jacob within like the next week or so, not 3 months from now, right? Because by then Jacob's going to have moved on to something else. We want to be direct, stating the major idea in the first sentence or 2, even for sympathy notes. Being direct is important. People don't want to read super long things without knowing what you're, you know, talking to them about. Being sincere, so avoiding language that is too flowery or too strong. Being very specific, so personalizing that message. And again, being brief, a personal note or 1 paragraph email, sometimes it's just plenty for that. Sympathy messages are a little bit different. If you ever have to send a sympathy message, there's a formula kind of for that. Sympathy messages usually are sent when someone passes away, right? So we're going to say, you know, we're sorry for your loss. Say something about and maybe a memory you have with that person, and if you don't, that's okay. Ask them if there's anything that they need, anything you can do to help, and then you close again with saying that you're sorry once again for their loss. That is the best, most direct way to write a sympathy message. It's not super long, it's not super crazy. It gets to the point when a person is probably getting a lot of those things. So for instance, my grandpa passed away earlier in January. My parents got so many sympathy cards, And most of them follow that same kind of pattern, right? Other ones were just way too long. So that's how we're going to write a meaningful goodwill message. Last thing, online comments. We live in a world where everything is online, right? It's most likely that you will have some kind of job in the future that involves using the internet in some way, especially when it comes to social media. If you own your own business, you'll have posts maybe to respond to or advertisements to make. So deciding whether or not to respond to a social media post is important to figure out, okay? So we found a post about our company. First thing we need to do, is it positive or negative? If it's positive and it's happy, we have to decide if we're going to respond or not, right? There are some happy responses from customers that don't really need a response. And we'll look at what that looks like in just a second. If it's not positive, is it degrading to the company? If so, we probably need to monitor it. Is it misguided? If it is, we need to fix those facts. Is it unhappy? We need to try to either restore the relationship or decide if there's no way to restore that relationship. There are some customers that are just angry, and whatever, it doesn't matter what you say to them, it's not going to fix that, okay? So we're going to look at a comment, and again, in your groups, you're going to figure out how you would respond to this. This is for a steakhouse. It says, great steaks, great drink menu, and outstanding service. I've been here several times, spent a lot of money and got what I paid for each time. Talks about their cocktails and their servers and the food. Very long kind of response here. So read through that and talk in your little groups that you're in right now about how you could respond to this comment.
One has to respond as a customer.
No, as a manager. As a manager. So talking to your groups, like you're the person that manages this restaurant, how would you respond to this customer?
Yeah. Yeah, right. What is your sponsor? Because you can also just like reassure like what they so I think that's not like asking you to leave. You probably business. Could be the moment
All right, so first question here is, should we respond to this comment? Yes, this person took a lot of time to write this, right? It's pretty long. So we should probably respond to them. How should we respond to them? What should we say to them?
Appreciate the time coming and spending the time like writing this message.
Yeah.
They are well welcome customers.
Tell them we appreciate them. We're glad they enjoy our restaurant. Anything else? Yeah. Yeah. Please come back soon. That would be great. Okay. So same thing here. We're going to decide if we should respond, and if we should, how. Their steaks are fantastic. It's a bit off the beaten track, though. Definitely a great place for formal business owners. So, should this get a response? If it does, how should we respond? If it doesn't, why would we not respond? Go ahead and talk about that one amongst your small groups. I think it takes long, like a little bit longer to get there. It's not like I'm like a main road or something. Yeah.
They actually asked like, they kind of like it and like, yeah. So I wanna details, maybe like response, if they time, yeah, like writing us the. Give us a form, but,
so sorry.
reach out.
We're so sorry. We're gonna figure out a move for this. Sorry.
Yeah.
I used to live at a restaurant in Double Wide. That's no worry.
All right. So should we respond to this?
I would.
So you could, but there's not a lot you can add here. You could just say, you know, we're glad you enjoy our food. The one complaint in this is it's off the beaten track. Can we change where our restaurant's located? Like quickly? No, we can't do that, right? We can't pick it up and move it. So even though we could say something, we could thank them for coming in. Anything we could add to this, it's probably not going to do very much, right? There are some managers or some social media managers that feel like you should respond to every customer, and that's fine. But this one would probably be okay not to. All right, we're going to take a look at how two different companies engage with their employees on social media, or their customers. Sorry, my brain is not working, on social media. So we have a company called Starwood. So we're going to look at the differences we notice between how Starwood Hotels and The Gap engage customers on Twitter. Okay, so Starwood, answering questions, right? If you require further help with this, please feel free to DM your SPG number and phone number so we can assist. Follow us in emergencies. We can expedite a StarPoint transfer to Advantage. We appreciate the feedback that we get on our mobile applications. The Gap, if you look through this, is more advertisements. Okay, so summer sale ends July 4th. Little closes are big sales, so we can got more exciting and take an additional 40% off. Which of these approaches is better? We have a company that's answering questions. We have a company that's just advertising. So talk amongst yourselves, which approach is better? Is one approach better than the other? And then why would it work? Why would what one works for one company maybe not work for the other one? I should not leave me paper clips up here. I just destroyed them.
Yep. Right, Star Wars. No, it's just like. But yeah. Going back.
Okay, is one of these ways better than the other? Yeah. Okay. Does anyone disagree with that? Okay. So let's think about it this way. How big of a company is Gap? It's pretty big, right? How many emails or messages do they probably get on social media? A ton. Is it even possible that they could start answering those? Probably not. Starwood Hotels used to be a lot bigger, but they got bought out by Marriott, and so now they're a small subsidiary of Marriott. So they probably have time to have someone go through and answer things like this. Is one way better? I don't know. I think it depends on how big your business is, right? If you have time to respond to a customer, probably not a bad idea to engage with that customer. But if you're a company that's as big as Gap, putting your advertisements on there, that's fine, right? That's not going to hurt anything. Okay. Let's talk for a second about some homeworky things. And we're going to talk about some housekeeping type things. I'm going to reshare my screen. The people online here. Let's open it up in a new tab. Oh, too far. Okay, so if you go to our page on D2L, the news feed's already updated for today. You have an assignment due tonight. Yes, there are a lot of them. Again, just attempt them. You don't have to have them all perfectly done. Make sure you look at that week 6 discussion post. And then your chapter 6 assignment, much shorter. Okay, only a couple of those. If it says to write an email, you can just write that email in your document. You don't have to actually send me an email. I think only one of you has really sent me an email. That's okay. Also, one of these on chapter 5 says to write like a 1-page report. Write a paragraph. Don't write a 1-page report. That sounds horrible. Don't do that. That's a lot of extra stuff. Okay. Okay, so some housekeeping things. There are several of you that are showing up late to class. Please be here on time. Because it's, I don't know, my largest pet peeve and it drives me crazy. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about. This semester has been really weird, right? We've had a lot of time that we've spent on Zoom, and I cannot promise you that it's not going to continue to be weird or happen because I am 9 weeks pregnant. So, thank you. So I have like lots of doctor's appointments and tests I have to get done, and if you see me run to the bathroom, I'm fine. I'm probably just, it's probably just morning sickness because that's been super real. That's half of why we've had to cancel class the last couple of weeks. But that's what's going on. That's why it's been so crazy. So please be patient with me. Bear with me. We're super, super excited. But yeah, in October, there will be a new little member of the Snow family. So we're super pumped. That's it for today. Get out of here. Go enjoy the rest of your Monday. Enjoy the weather while it's nice. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday.